Consciousness studies is a very interesting journey, and part of the outcome is something that happened to me this morning. I woke up, threw away my previous speech, and penned what came to me in the middle of the night. Begin at the beginning, the king said very greatly. There's no better place to begin. The word commence means to begin. So here we are at the beginning. It really has taken some time for us to get here. Charles, our academic coordinator, likes to say that unlike the goal of the Learning and Thinking program, in consciousness studies we get on with the unlearning and the unthinking of things. Hence, it seems very appropriate that at the end of things we find ourselves here just right at the beginning. I was wondering if we were to walk out of this auditorium and sit down with a palm reader or soothsayer or fortune teller right now, before our lives got too settled in a new rut, perhaps there would be no past for her to see, and so no future for her to tell. Nothing left would be carved in the stone of our memories, and everything would be possible. Everything should be possible from here. In my work, we have a phrase, starting position. We ask people to throw away all their preconceived agreements about roles and rules and path dependencies, and basically to think about their governance as a starting position. Starting position, that's the phrase we use. It means that whenever you find yourself wherever you are, you're there, you're here, just in the right place at your starting position. Well, we, my friends Charles and Barty and Dave and Brian, we are consciousness studies graduates. So I could have said all that in a fancier way. I could have told you about process philosophy and explained why there are more potentials in the past than in the future. Although the future potentials are infinite, they are not exhaustible. I could have derived from this cosmological asymmetry why this means there are more actuals to be realized in the future than could have ever been realized in the past, despite this negative correlation with potentials. Remember the elephants, I would say. There will never be a time when there were never any of them, which only means there will never be a time when there was never a you or a me. And that makes a difference. It's a really big deal. Each one of us is a unique part of this starting position here on planet Earth, in a galaxy that embraces all we can see and echoes all we say. Remind me again, this moment is a time unlike any other. This moment, too. Well, I am really not much for formalities or a pageantry like this commencement ceremony, but I confess to holding a few little rituals out at the farm where I live. For example, I walk the dogs to the mailbox every day at 1:30, and when I do, I sing, "Who wants to go to the mailbox?" It's my dog's version of pomp and circumstance. Perhaps walking to the mailbox is not their goal. The mailbox is not really their thing. It's the walking the camaraderies, the chance to be together, the chance to be a we. We talked about this just this past week with an incoming cohort in consciousness studies. The question posed, the question I would put forth today is, how big is your we? How big is our we? Occasionally in the late spring, the juvenile birds get lost in my barn. They think the only way out is where the light shines through. Those closed windows are not the way out. It's toward the lower, dark barn entry that they must go. That's an allegory that seems relevant to me today. That and the idea that it's only on the inside that the birds are lost and confused. Outside, in the big wide world and open sky, they know where they are. My friend likes to say, when you are lost in the forest knows where you are. There's a lot of connections you could make with this story. A girl, a farm, a barn, a bird, a forest, windows closing in the light, and dark spaces to escape through. In consciousness studies, we covered them all. Anyway, when I help the birds out of the barn, I do it with a bit of pageantry, another little ritual. Like all children, I carry them outside by cupping my hands over them, and they seem to snuggle inside as if my hands were a portable nest. Inside, I feel their tiny racing hearts, and sometimes I think they are staring into my palms the way we stare into the night sky, perplexed by things. Part of this little ritual is when I release them, I give them a little boost like this, and I say, "Here is your freedom, little bird. Be careful what you do with it." This graduation ceremony, this speech, is a little ritual too. It's our little boost before we launch into our freedom, our new starting position. We finally get to begin again, not at the ending, but here at this commencement. Begin at the beginning, the king said very greatly. It's the very best place to start.